This episode was recorded on December 15th, 2020. Good evening and welcome to Fumblerooski Podcast by Power 88 Dean Radio. I'm Adam Wright alongside Justin Tucker and Brian Mucker. So we have a great show planned for tonight. We have the Patriots. We have the quarterback controversy in Philly. We got the MVP race. It's getting very close. So we also have the Bills. So they're on a hot streak so far. Ravens winning a thriller. And so we'll start off with the Patriots. Start off. Cam Newton blows. All right.
Agree.
So it's looking increasingly more likely that Cam Newton is not the long-term option in New England. So I'm thinking they should probably move on from him. But, there's a lot of other options that they could go with. They could have him as a bridge quarterback for a couple of years while they build up the roster, and then maybe they could find somebody. But as for right now, it's not looking good. The rest of the roster isn't good either. So I'm not sure what you guys think about it, but
I disagree. Dump him, draft a quarterback. There's so many in this draft.
This draft?
Yes. Mac Jones coming out of Alabama is probably going to fall down. Kyle Trask out of Florida, that's another one. You could always look at
Zach Wilson.
What's his name? The guy, Zach Wilson from BYU. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields aren't even going to be there because they're going to be selected by the Jets and Jaguars for their top two picks.
North Dakota.
Who else?
Trey Lance, North Dakota State.
Yep, that's another one. He might fall down too. I disagree. You guys. I don't know how many picks the Patriots have, but they should be selecting a quarterback in the first round. Yes, wide receiver and tight end are their struggles, and maybe linebackers too, but draft a quarterback in the first round.
So my only thing with that is that quarterbacks typically tend to rise in drafts rather than fall. And I feel like 7 and 9, which is the worst the Patriots can finish at this point, is not good enough to select a quarterback who Bill Belichick will like. And I feel like even if they do have a high pick, I feel like it would be just like Bill Belichick to draft like a lineman or something.
Yeah.
Or take the worst quarterback out of the draft. Sorry, worst wide receiver out of the draft. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be opposed to taking a quarterback. I feel like New England's dream throughout our fan base has always been sort of let's draft the next guy behind Brady. It never happened besides that one time when we got Garoppolo. But it's not.
I mean, Brissett wasn't a bad one. I feel like
no, Brissett wasn't good enough. So I feel like knowing Bill Belichick, he's probably going to build a roster first around the team, and then he'll a couple maybe a few years down the line, they'll draft a quarterback, and he'll quarterback a team who has more of a roster around him. We see a lot of teams that take a quarterback and they have no roster around them and they end up ruining the player because he's just surrounded by a terrible team. I mean, Brian, you should know overall with the Jets how they're treating Darnold. Mm-hmm. They have no roster around.
It's not just that. It's just like the coaching. It's not just like the one thing. It's just the coaching's just not there. Yes, he is not like Crowder is a experienced receiver. Denzel Mims, a rookie out of Baylor, not having a season due to injuries with his hamstring. He also had a family issue last week. That's why he didn't play last week. What they should do maybe is get another receiver because I don't think Vincent or Jeff Smith are it. I don't think Brashard Perriman's it, even though he's having a good season. But yeah, I understand what you're saying with Cam Newton. Justin should also know about Brashard Perriman.
I'm well aware of him. I'm very well aware of him.
But I understand what you're saying. Like, if you draft a quarterback, you'll ruin the player. But like a lot of things. But here's the question for you: if they decide to move him from Cam Newton, who are you going to sign? Philip Rivers?
I'll take anybody just to take
Hold on,
be a bridge quarterback.
Let me look up who.
I just think.
I want to look up who's a free agent quarterback next year.
Okay. So Justin, how are you feeling about this situation?
I believe there's a lot of ways you can go about this. I believe long-term Cam Newton isn't the quarterback of the future for the New England Patriots. I think that's obvious. But also, you got to give him some weapons. Jacoby Meyer is their best receiver. If Jacoby Meyer, who's a good receiver, is your best receiver, you have a problem. You have that's a very serious problem. So I would say go out and get like a veteran wide receiver because Bill Belichick track record within the draft for drafting wide receivers.
And there is many wide receivers out there. Allen Robinson's one of them.
So I would say, get an Allen Robinson, and then hopefully Cam can use him for a year, and then you guys like draft a quarterback and make him sit on the bench. Maybe like a Zach Wilson would do the trick for you guys, and maybe you guys could have like a franchise quarterback to build around.
And if you guys decide to move on from Cam Newton, there are two available quarterbacks that I think the Patriots should target. They're both experienced.
Yep.
Philip Rivers, very old player, but look what he's doing in Indianapolis. He doesn't have much talent there.
He doesn't have much of an arm, but
he does.
Well, I mean, T.Y. Hilton's on and off with injury, and then T.Y. Hilton, I don't know. Sometimes he's just there. He doesn't use him properly. He has a rookie Michael Pittman. He lost Paris Campbell for the year, so there's that.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously he used his tight ends quite a lot. So so the Patriots should also target a tight end maybe. The other quarterback who I think
a lot more talent than you give him credit for. They have Trey Burton. Remember, they have
Billy
Ali Cox.
Mo Ali Cox.
They have. We love the name, don't we?
And they have a very good defense too. In case the offense isn't doing it, they have a very stout defense to rely on.
Right, they have a great defense, but let's not forget, this is a Colts team that is not consistently not finishing drives. That's why they're kicking a lot of field goals. I have, Brian, I have Rodrigo Blankenship on my fantasy team. He scores a lot of points. You know why?
So Daniel Carlson.
They don't finish drives. You know why? Because of Philip Rivers. He comes off the field sometimes for Jacoby Brissett at the goal line.
Yep.
They just have no confidence in him.
All right. Well, then the other quarterback is this, and this has to be, and he is looking for a lot of money. It's Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
If he decides to move on from Dallas, then Dak Prescott's going to be there for a while in New England. He's not going to look for a 1-year deal or anything, and then you guys can draft a rookie quarterback following next year's draft. What you guys should do is get a experienced quarterback who's been around a while. Obviously, you won't have a really great season with this guy, like a Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton or Ryan Fitzpatrick. You could use those as for 1 year, draft Zach Wilson or something like that. You could use him for one of those three quarterbacks for 1 year, like Patrick Mahomes did. So he did the same thing with Alex Smith. And then you move on from whoever you guys sign in a free agency, and you make that rookie your starter in his second year. This is exactly what Patrick Mahomes went through. Alex Smith was a quarterback for the first year, taught him a lot, and look at Patrick Mahomes now.
Yep. Look at Lamar. He didn't start his.
And Lamar too. Lamar with Flacco. And maybe Jordan Love could be another one if Rodgers decides to retire or move on soon. But I don't really see him retiring anytime soon, so Jordan Love might have to wait.
Yep.
Right. So I agree. I think they need a bridge quarterback, but so the answer is definitely not Dak Prescott because number one, he's not a bridge quarterback. I think he's looking to be a franchise quarterback somewhere, and that would be one expensive bridge quarterback. Wouldn't you agree? With the money he's looking for,
would be around $35 million.
We can rule him out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those were the only two best available quarterbacks there, and then you got Cam Newton, but obviously he blows. So
I mean,
I think Philip Rivers might be the better option.
Sign him to a 1-year deal. But that's if the Colts want him back. Who knows? The Colts might want him back because they might. Because to be honest, if you look at it, there are many quarterbacks drafted. You're going to be drafted out of next year's draft. There's many quarterbacks going to each team. Fields going to Jacksonville, Lawrence going to the Jets. Rivers might be gone, so Colts might be looking for one. Same with the Bears, because I don't think Nick Foles or Mitchell Trubisky are the options there, considering those two are like on the final year of their contract. Obviously, the Patriots are in need for one. Who am I forgetting? I think Washington might maybe Washington too, because they might trade for Dwayne Haskins and Alex Smith is a free agent, and I don't think what's his name? Kyle Allen's the answer. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Eagles have Jalen Hurts, so they're fine. I think their final quarterback there. You might just have to keep Carson Wentz as a backup and hell out his ears. But yeah, like other than that, maybe the Vikings could look for one too. I don't think Kirk Cousins is an answer because considering he relies on Dalvin Cook too much, he doesn't use Adam Thielen or Jefferson that much either. So we might as well move on from him.
Right. So what I'm hearing from you is that I've managed to convince you that taking a quarterback this year is not the move, and maybe we should go into looking for a bridge quarterback and then waiting for our quarterback to come along. That's a winning formula that's been proven to work. The Chiefs did it. They had Alex Smith before for a few years, and they were still competitive, right? And then Patrick Mahomes comes along
and wins a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl contenders. Literally
and then you see Joe Flacco playing 1 year. Lamar was in like a bunch of situations where he had to go like a wide receiver slot or something like that, or he was like in a couple of drives as quarterback. Flacco leaves, gets traded to Denver. You look at Lamar Jackson's first season, MVP season, right there. So, well, not this year because there are many quarterbacks. Well, no offense to Lamar, but there are many quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers still looking for those MVPs.
Right. So
I'm not saying this year's an MVP season. I'm talking about Mahomes.
Quarterback because he was their quarterback for quite a while, but they, but again, it's been proven to work. The whole bridge quarterback strategy: build the roster first through the draft, and then go for the quarterback because then the quarterback has a team to inherit. And he is put in a better place to succeed, right? So if the Bengals or say another bum team drafted Patrick Mahomes, how do you think he would have wound up?
Not good.
Yeah, probably not quite as good. Maybe still good, but
not as good as
inherited a roster with more weapons than ISIS. It's unbelievable.
Honestly, like the Bengals, the only weapons I see are like Mixon and Boyd, and now Higgins. Higgins is turning out good. AJ Green's is just a washed-up wide receiver on the line. Their line sucks. As you can see, Joe Burrow tore his ACL this year, so they need lineman help. But yeah, I agree with you. What the Patriots should do is maybe draft tight end, maybe Kyle Pitts, because he's the best tight end that's coming out of the draft this year, and sign a free agent wide receiver.
See, I disagree. I go with wide receiver.
Again,
okay. So if you're looking for a wide receiver,
Jalen Waddle.
I don't. Those two might be taken by then.
It depends on.
Because the Dolphins need wide receiver help, and they have like a 4th pick from Houston, so they're probably going to select one.
They can take Jamar Chase.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next segment. So, quarterback controversy in Philly. So, as you guys know, last game, he was Miles Sanders. Sorry, not Miles Sanders. Carson Wentz was benched in the second half last game to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts came in and, so while that didn't show up in the statistics, he did play fairly well. So he comes back in this game, and he ran for over 100 yards. It looked very Lamar-like to me, Justin.
I can't tell.
They upset the Saints 24-21. That's huge. They went with a run-first offense. Miles Sanders had one of the best games of his career, 115 yards, a couple touchdowns. So What are we looking at with the quarterback controversy so far?
This is what I say. Even though Wentz signed that 4-year deal, you keep Wentz on that fucking bench. You put Hurts on a starting quarterback, and he could do well for you.
What, are you talking about Wentz as like the starter?
No, Hurts.
Yeah, you go with. I'm gonna say no on that. Maybe hold on to Wentz so far and see how it goes in case things go south for Jalen Hurts. But it's looking like so far Jalen Hurts took over this team, and he took it by storm. You know, he didn't get to 200 passing yards, but what he did on the ground as a rushing quarterback, I say what I say about run first offenses, they don't work typically as well, but when they do work, they're pretty effective.
Yep.
Now I say
why do you say Wentz should be there? Why do you say Wentz should be the starter?
For now,
yeah.
I'm not saying he should be the starter. I'm saying he should be on the roster right now.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying too. But okay. So are you saying that like Wentz should just be on the roster and not a starting quarterback?
I think they should play it by ear so far and see how they do.
I think Jalen Hurts has proven that a little bit already. I don't know who is he facing. Who's Philly facing?
Philly?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
all right.
It doesn't matter who they're facing. Jalen Hurts had the better game, but we can't just hand him the job for the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. I mean, what if he doesn't perform again after that?
I don't know. I mean, I could see. I mean, Jalen Hurts, I could see as starting quarterback. I mean, he's done better than Wentz for some reason struggles, and he obviously doesn't have the legs for it. But Hurts does. He's young. I think he has an arm too, because when I watched that game going back and forth between the Jets and Seahawks and the Eagles and Saints, Hurts kind of showed off his legs and his arm. So Miles Sanders struggled when Wentz was in quarterback, and then you saw what he did. He put up 2 touchdowns. So
yeah, Wentz has shown that he can play, but Hurts played well, but like all I'm saying is keep an open mind with this. If I'm the Eagles, their season is almost lost. They are technically still in the playoff race, but they should take this with an open mind and look at it and see where they go from here. But they're almost playing for nothing at this point. So why not just take it with an open mind? All right, see who's playing well. Go with the hot hand, and if their answer isn't on this roster, then they can easily just go to the draft again and trade both of these players eventually. And it might be a couple of years of a rebuild, but it's better than sitting here and fiddling with all this stuff on their roster.
Yes,
right?
What the Eagles should do, yes. If you want us around town with Hurts, you obviously have Miles Sanders and Boston Scott in the backfield. Draft a wide receiver. Release the veterans in Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. That's what I say. Those two have been washed up. They've been on IR constantly. Fulgham is a surprise this year, but he's starting to slow down, so I don't know if he's your answer. The other guy, Ward, I don't know if he's a rookie or he's I don't really know what he is. Rieger, he's the rookie, I know, and I think he could be one of your top wide receivers there. Who am I forgetting? Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, you got that combination there. Richard Rodgers has also panned out for them. What the Eagles really need to focus on the draft is wide receiver help and maybe offensive lineman help. And they could probably focus on defense by the 3rd or 2nd round.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can go over the splits on the specifics on what they should do around the roster, but I think just looking at the quarterback controversy that they have so far, it should be kind of just an open audition so far right now. Sort of see what Jalen Hurts has, see what you have in him. You really have nothing to lose at this point. He seemed to have a good relationship with Miles Sanders on the field. Carson Wentz, as bad as up and down as he's looked all season, he's still been able to prove that he's a capable starting quarterback. So
well, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback.
Not close the door on him yet, but let's see about it going forward.
I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. It's just that he tries doing to him. Like, it doesn't pan out well. And I don't know. You saw the struggles for the past couple of weeks. Wentz he's like the least amount of numbers I've ever seen Carson Wentz. That's not Carson Wentz I've seen. And if the Eagles are open for trade target, can the Patriots trade with him? Can Wentz can he keep?
Okay, but Brian, what you're saying is basically that we should already hand the job over to Wentz, to Jalen Hurts, and give him and just hand him the starting job when he only has one start under his belt. Yeah, it was a good start, but that doesn't mean he gets it for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that, obviously, but what Hurts proved looked like it's starter worthy.
He hasn't proved it yet. He had one great start. Okay, it's what a quarterback controversy is. It's not a solved controversy by any means after one start. Okay, I've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick have some of the best starts I've ever seen, but he's also considered one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the league. All right, there's a reason why he's been such a journeyman. So and I've seen in the beginning of Brock Osweiler's career back in 2015, he had some good starts, but he wound up being benched for the still washed up Peyton Manning, and they won a Super Bowl with him. Yep. So everything's still on the table at this point.
All right. Well, this is what I'm going to give to you. All right. This Sunday at 4:05 p.m., the Eagles have another tough opponent coming up, and that is in the Arizona Cardinals. If Hurts wins this game against the Cardinals, then I could see this guy being like the starter for next year.
The starter for next year?
Possibly. Like he just beat a team that already has a first round bye in the playoffs. Cardinals, another playoff team there. Like, and this Eagles team doesn't even look good to me. Like, this offense doesn't. I mean, the defense has just been hurt completely this year. I saw like 5 injuries in that game, and then the offensive line not there. You still have Corey Peters, who's still old, and then the wide receiver help's not there because Deshaun Jackson. They still keep contracts in Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey, who should be either still a free agent with another team or just retired. Those two just don't stay healthy. And Deshaun Jackson's has been in football for a while. So and same with Jeffrey. Jeffrey started his career with the Bears. Those two should be retired. If Hurts gets 2 more receivers, you could see the Eagles being another Super Bowl contending team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I don't think it seems like you're kind of counting your chickens before they hatch, right? You're basically saying what Jalen Hurts already is before we even know what he is. Mm-hmm. After just one start. We know what we've seen what Carson Wentz can do. He's been on and off, but you can easily make the argument that Carson Wentz just has a poor supporting cast, but we have to wait and see. And we could see what we have in Jalen Hurts. He could be another Lamar Jackson, or at least a poor man's Lamar Jackson, which a poor man's Lamar Jackson is still a pretty good starting quarterback. So all I'm saying is let's just wait and see. Let's play it by ear. And, this is a big win for Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying that we should still be skeptical. He made his case, but let's just see. He has another start coming up. So we'll see. We'll take it start by start. They have nothing to lose at this point. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to the third segment. So we have Patrick Mahomes. And Aaron Rodgers having amazing seasons. They both have 5 interceptions or less. They both have nearly at least around 35 touchdown passes. So they're both quarterbacking teams that they are leading to the number 1 seed at this point. The Kansas City, respectively, at 12-1, sitting on top of the AFC. We have Green Bay at 10-3, start at the top of their respective conference. So the question is, after Week 14, where Patrick Mahomes threw 3 picks, and Aaron Rodgers threw no picks, but he also threw 3 touchdown passes. Mahomes had 2 touchdown passes. So who is your leading pick for MVP right now? Is it over? Is it not over? Or
it's very neck and neck right now. Considering the game that Patrick Mahomes had against Miami and considering the game Aaron Rodgers had against Detroit, I'm kind of leaning towards Aaron Rodgers right now. Because Patrick Mahomes in the first half didn't look good by any stretch of the imagination, like at all. He didn't look good until like the 2-minute warning, and then the second half where he started to look like Patrick Mahomes. So I would say right now I'm leaning towards more Aaron Rodgers than Patrick Mahomes, but it's still very close.
See, for me, I'm not even gonna disagree with Justin on this, but for me, it's tough. I know what Patrick Mahomes is capable of, and considering he faced Miami and Tyreek Hill was guarded by was covered by one of the best corners in Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, I could see why he threw those 2 picks or 3 picks. Where I don't know how many he threw, but when I look at Mahomes as the next Tom Brady here. So, and yeah, that is saying something. He has the talent. He definitely has the coach in Andy Reid, because Andy Reid is up there with Bill Belichick. He has the talent with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, best tight end in probably the history of the game right now, because I think he moved on in passing yards. He has decent wide receivers in McCole Hardman and Sammy Watkins. He has Clyde and Bell in the backfield. Mahomes, yes, he could be another MVP again. He could have it. But when I look at Aaron Rodgers, it's like mind-blowing. I thought Aaron Rodgers had a couple of years left. And the fact that he's 10-3 with a Packers team that just has an offensive players in Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams, and I thought it was just those 2, but then Robert Tonyan came into the picture. I thought it was just those 2. I look at Aaron Rodgers, and I think it's neck and neck between those 2. It's very impressive what Aaron Rodgers has done this year.
The main thing, Tom Brady, when you say he's the next Tom Brady, is, and then you mentioned that he's working with all these great players. Has Tom Brady ever worked with that much talent?
Yes.
Tom Brady has, and yes, he has. You saw the coaches. Okay, Bill Belichick. He had Bill Belichick as head coach, even though those 2 didn't even go out at the end. But he's had the coaches in Josh McDaniels. And then he had Joe Judge as a coach. He had, and you know where he is now. Patricia moved on, not with the Lions anymore, obviously. There, he was in that system. And then when you look at the players that Brady had, he still has James White and Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, but then he had Wes Welker. He had Aaron Hernandez at one point. He had Rob Gronkowski, still does in Tampa. He still has Edelman. Amendola was pretty good with New England. You
can't mention any of those players as quote-unquote weapons for Tom Brady, and mention them in the same breath as Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, who are 2 of the best players in their positions at this point.
Okay, but Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski.
Rob Gronkowski, yes.
Okay,
all right.
Okay, so
Edelman, absolutely not.
All right, so
as much as I love Edelman as a player, he is not a number 1 receiver, and neither is
that I know. Yeah, that I know. Yes.
That's But my thing is, why don't we look at the 07 team then? He had weapons.
Randy Moss. Randy Moss is another one.
When he did, he went 16-0.
And 50 touchdowns, and Randy had 23. So it's not like he hasn't had the weapons here.
Randy Moss was a very big part in that 07 team. He's the Tyreek Hill, right? He was the Tyreek Hill for that team.
But exactly my point. So when Tom Brady had weapons, such as a Brandon Cooks, a Rob Gronkowski whenever he's healthy, such as a Randy Moss, right? They're unbelievably great, like all-time great. Tom Brady threw for 500 yards and 3 touchdown passes in Super Bowl 52, and that was without Brandon Cooks.
And you even have to look at the
gave it to him.
And in 2007, he had a record-breaking season, threw for 50 touchdown passes, and finished 16-0, the only team to finish 16-0, right? Yeah. So you look at all of the weapons that Tom Brady has had. When he has them, he's much better than Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we haven't seen what Patrick Mahomes has done. All right, his rookie season was on the bench. His first year, what was it?
Because he was a Super Bowl. Was a 6th-round pick. Was Patrick Mahomes a 6th-round pick?
No, he was the first. He was the 10th.
He was the first. He was in the first overall draft.
And also, you say Tom Brady was on the bench his first year. Where was Patrick Mahomes' first year?
The bench.
He was on the bench.
The bench. There you go. And he inherited when he came in, he inherited an all-time great roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you here. I know what Mahomes and Brady have went through.
Okay.
In their careers.
We're gonna step aside and take a break. We'll be right back. But stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.